Greetings, friends and followers. This is Nurses Talking. I am Del Barzi. And as always, if you like what you see and hear, give us a like, subscribe, leave us a comment. We'd love to know what you think. Today, my guest is Mrs. Lynn Roush. Lynn has been a nurse for 23 years. She's a happily married mom of two. She's passionate about holistic wellness, specifically mental fitness, and the gut-brain connection. Welcome, Lynn.
Oh, thank you for being here, having me. I'm excited to be here today with you.
Well, thank you so much for speaking to me. I've been looking forward to this for a little bit, and you have been so patient. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're doing such great work telling these stories.
Thanks. So all the time, I want to know, why are people nurses? Why are you a nurse?
You know, it's funny, when you asked that, we talked a little bit about what we would, the conversation today. It made me reflect back, it's been like 30 years ago I made this decision, and I was a teenager. And who knew that I would end up with such a rewarding, fulfilling career when I made that decision so long ago. But
yeah.
When I was in high school, I had a friend who was in a really bad car accident. And I ended up being around the hospital setting and seeing what nursing care was like a little bit, right? And I got a taste of that. And that was like right when I was deciding where I wanted to go to college and what I wanted to do. And I was like, you know what? I think I like what these nurses do. And here I am, a long time later. Many good lessons learned along the way, right?
A lot of it about you, I bet.
Oh, yes, for sure.
So what areas have you worked in?
My entire career has been in a hospital setting. I've done med surg and a little bit of critical care. I've done, float pool nursing, IV teams, things like that. But the last 13 years, I've practiced as a clinical nurse specialist with oversight over 2 or 3 different medical surgical units, working mostly with evidence-based practice and quality kind of role. So always in a hospital, lots of adventures and different things along the way, but yes.
But what made you gravitate to your current thing, clinical nurse specialist?
Well, so actually, just 6 weeks ago, I transitioned. I feel like I'm still using my degree in a way, but I'm currently now in a hospital quality position.
Okay.
Which is, it's for the hospital system, but I'm not in the main hospital hustle and bustle anymore. I'm able to work from home. I'm doing a lot of independent, like chart review and things like that. So it was just time for me to just have a little bit different pace. What it is. It's still hard work. There's still lots of work to do. I'm learning all kinds of new things again. 25 years and I'm still learning new things every day. But it was just time for me to transition out of the hospital.
Yeah, I get it. And that's the beauty of this thing. There's so much to do that you can, throw in and out of things. And as you say, 25 years later, you're still learning. You're always learning. So yeah.
100%.
Yeah. So tell me, what are some of the challenges you faced becoming a nurse? Because there always are.
For sure. I think one of the things that there's a couple things. One is that healthcare burnout is real. Caregiver fatigue is profound, and I spent a lot of years in that constant state that I couldn't do. I wasn't able to do enough, trying harder, just feeling like you just couldn't take the care of the patients you wanted to. And then when I was in the clinical nurse specialist role, my job was to fix systems, mentor nurses, have good quality outcomes. And it's like every day you'd walk in and there was like some mountain that needed climbed. And so I took on more and more and more. and I constantly had another new project and another new thing, and my plate became very, very full, and I felt like that's what I had to do.
Yeah.
And so I burnt myself out. I mean, the system was part of the problem, but it was also, I think a lot of nurses do that. You know, we feel like we have to give, do. And it left me in a place that I wasn't happy. And I didn't have major medical problems, but I certainly wasn't in a good spot, you
I
know?
know, I know what you mean. I understand exactly what you're saying. There was a time in my career. I'm semi-retired now, but there was a time in my career where I changed my in my head. I changed my job description from director of nursing to firefighter because it seemed like it seems like that was all I was, I started off having plans, having a system, having wanting to get this done, get this done, get this done. And days and weeks would pass, and this list of things that I wanted to address never got done. Everything was just pushed aside because something else came up. And I thought, okay, so that's what firefighters do. So,
Yeah.
But
You know, and the other piece of that too is I feel that over the years I've had a really I'm just like disappointed, I guess, in how the sick care system works, right? We're at a point in the country where we're really not healthy. We are not in a good mental health state. And I've really gravitated to more natural and healing and modalities and things for myself. And there's been like a disconnect of what we're doing in the hospital system or the healthcare in general. I mean, the hospital, we're making really sick people live, and that's what we need to be doing. But the whole system in general I don't feel like is meeting all the needs. We learned in nursing school to care for the whole being, the wellness, the prevention. And I feel like that's missing. And so that also created some internal turmoil for me, right? Like I wanted to be able to be part of something different to help keep people out of hospitals.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. But, as soon as it seems like as soon as something goes even a little bit wrong, we reach for the ultimate thing to try and, and the ultimate thing usually doesn't make us well, it makes us sicker. So.
Yes, that.
But, just to talk a little bit more about the angst and the burnout and stuff that comes along with it. Do you think that perhaps before we got into these settings, if a little more of how to care for ourselves was included in our education, we would do better?
Oh, for sure.
I think so.
I think that I think wellness, I think part of the problem is how to really self-nurturing and self-care type information is so varied.
Yeah.
And there isn't you get advice from everybody. Yeah. And I think that when we get, this isn't just in healthcare, but we know we should eat right. We know we should eat more vegetables and fruits. We know we should get good night's sleep and drink water, move our bodies, have some kind of spiritual practice. We know that. But when you get into the chaos of life, whether that's in healthcare, parenting, life, whatever that looks like, it's hard to have the energy and the motivation, and sometimes there's just the time to do the things that we know we need to do. And it creates this vicious cycle, right? Our self-care, and then we're too exhausted and just too stressed and exhausted to even know where to start. And we, you grab a pizza for dinner and a big drink of wine and hope for the best.
I know. And so we talk a lot about self-care. I should say, I talk a lot about self-care. I don't think I talk to any nurse or very most people without talking about self-care. And I've come to realize it means so many different things to so many different people. Exactly what does it mean to you?
So, a few years ago, when I was really burnt out, I stumbled upon this. I was looking for a way to make an income away from the hospital, is what I was looking for. What I found was a company that is called Amari Global, and it's a holistic mental wellness company. And when I stumbled upon this, I was thinking, wow, I bet I could help a lot of people with this. This could be something I could do. We don't have enough mental health resources.
Mm-hmm.
What does this look like? And then, since then, that's what I thought I was getting into, right? How just like with nursing, we learn new things. What I found is that there are so many different natural solutions
Mm-hmm.
that specifically are designed to help us better handle the stresses of life, all that vicious cycle I was speaking
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
And so to me, taking good quality supplements that
Mm-hmm.
optimize our gut microbiome, gut brain connection,
Mm-hmm.
have really been able to balance that stress response, the neurotransmitters, all the things going on. And then it's easier to do all the other self-care
Or the
things.
other thing. Yeah, yeah.
So when you get a good night's sleep and wake up energized, you're motivated to work out.
Yeah.
When your stress response is under control and you're not craving junk food or things that are bad for you or living on coffee,
Yeah.
you can put a salad in your mouth and it's
And
satisfying.
it
And
tastes good.
so, right. So I've completely flipped my definition of self-care to let's get our bodies in balance. Everything else falls into place rather than doing more
Yes.
to try to fix.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the last couple of years has really flipped everything I thought about self-care
Yeah,
around.
yeah,
And it's about nourishing,
yeah. You mentioned something that I wanted to ask you about. You talked about the gut-brain connection.
Mhm.
Tell me about that.
Well, I think that in a nutshell,
Mm-hmm.
all of the things that we learned in nursing school, right? About how hormones, neurotransmitters, all of like the stress cascade, the inflammatory process, our immune system, vagus nerve stuff,
All of
right?
that
All of
stuff.
those things are actually what runs our body.
Yeah,
We talk about heart health and
yeah.
weight and joint health and all those, but
Mm-hmm.
really that's kind of separate. What's making everything work right is all those communication networks.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the gut brain axis.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
A lot of the stuff, like for example, our gut microbiome makes the majority of our serotonin and dopamine. Serotonin makes us happy, dopamine keeps us motivated, right?
Yeah.
So when we have serotonin and dopamine being produced in your gut appropriately, and then the vagus nerve and the whole systems
Mm-hmm.
are taking it to your head where you feel good, you
There you
feel a
go.
difference.
Mm-hmm.
You feel a
Mm-hmm.
difference.
Yeah.
And this science is so new and so exciting, new 10-ish years,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's like all of it, like our microbiome is just like the epicenter of everything. And then all these communication networks. And when we can optimize all that, you can sleep,
You can sleep.
you don't have anxiety and you have less worry. Your mind isn't racing. You have energy. I mean, it's not normal to feel tired and exhausted and crabby all the time. We don't have to live
Yeah.
that way.
Right.
So to me, the gut brain axis has been the missing link and what's key. So I am forever grateful that I stumbled upon this and accidentally learned it.
And so you have this thing that made me smile the first time I saw it. Really, the Happiness Collective.
Yeah.
What's that? Tell me, what's the Happiness Collective?
So what I've learned because of all of this gut brain connection stuff and mental fitness and mental optimization, I had been like taking care of myself with those with those protocols and stuff
Mhm.
for about a year at
Mhm.
when the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
And the beginning of 2020 and the whole year, and even still with everything that's happening in nursing now, I have seen some I just it's like everything is falling apart, right? All of the nurse burnout, all of the stress,
Yeah.
all we were just stressed to the max. And I know this sounds kind of I, even though I was in the thick of all of this, I felt okay.
Mhm.
I was I didn't feel stressed. I felt like invigorated by like, okay, what can we do? How can we improve? Like in a problem solving, I'm not saying the stress wasn't there. The stress was there, but I felt like I could handle it. And I
Yeah.
knew that I was onto something that like if if I've ever been pushed in my life, it was last year,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
With home
Okay.
and work and everything,
Mhm.
professionally, everything. And I knew, but I didn't feel exhausted. And I was like, huh, this is helping. And I knew that the people around me were not in the same situation as me. So that's why I was like, I have got to help nurses.
Mhm. Mhm.
I need to take this message out there and help nurses be happy and healthy and do it together in a way that we can like care for each other, a nurse helping nurses. Let's,
Mhm.
and so that's
Mhm.
why I like named it the Happy Nurse Collective. Like, let's all join forces. Like, just we've got to find a way to heal from this burnout and really move the needle on our own self-care and our own self-love and set good boundaries and do all the things so that we can thrive because what's happening isn't working. So
Got it.
that's what
Got it. Got it. So,
you
so
tell I'm excited.
yeah, I can tell you're excited. Well, you have to be excited to name it the Happiness Collective, But in all of this big healthcare balloon, so to speak, that we have, which includes nurses, and nurses are a big part of it.
Mhm.
What would you say your vision is for nurses, nursing, as far as in the healthcare whole big holistic thing is?
This like with this like Happy Nurse Collective idea, I think about this a lot. And I think that it's time to break free out of the traditional system a bit. Like, not a bit, a lot. I envision, like, I think about it like, what if nurses were truly healthy and happy and had good tools and knowledge, right? Of holistic strategies and wellness and whatever, like if they were really good, reliable sources of information and then could go out and help their communities and their families and get like not need the broken system as much, you know what I
As
mean? Like
much,
big
yes,
little like a
yes, I know.
grassroots kind of effort of like, okay, nurses can lead the change, but we've got to start with
Yes,
ourselves.
yes, that's exactly
I
where I'm
don't
going with that.
I don't want to fix the whole system. That I want to start with us and just a little
Yes,
ripple effect
yes.
of healthy nurses teaching other people how to be healthy. And I think about it a lot, actually.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, uh, but I think, in the traditional system, we've got to have, safe staffing regulations. We've got to make the work easier with less hoops to jump through.
Yeah, yeah,
We've just got to focus on taking good care of patients, and
yeah.
some of the fluff and the regulations have got to go away.
I know, I know. We've gotten to the point where, I, I tell people nursing now is like it's like driving. You do defensive driving, you're defensive nursing,
Yeah.
and that's not good.
No,
And that's not
no,
good.
it's not.
So, of all the things, I see that you're so excited about so many things. So I want to know what would you say now is your greatest achievement as a nurse so far? Because I know you have more. But
I'm
what?
not done.
No, you're not done.
You know, I've had some beautiful times in my career where I've been recognized for, nice awards and things, but I am appreciative of that. But what I'm proud of is my years and years and years mentoring nurses. When you see a new nurse and they're scared, and then you've got to kick them out of orientation, and then they do well, and then they start really thriving, and then they're like, we're working on projects together and they're advancing their career, that whole professional development thing. And 5 years later, they're asking you for a letter of recommendation to go on and, for a master's degree or something. The mentoring and that has really, watching people grow is super fun to me. It's super fun. And then now I'm getting to do that with people and their business, so people that are joining the Happy Nurse Collective, and I'm watching nurses who were also burnout, and now they're finding their voice in a different way, starting an online business. And my one dear friend, she's now considers herself like the gut health nurse, and she's speaking her truth and her story, and it's just fun to watch. I like helping people grow.
Awesome. So I have started collecting these words that have to do with the essential quality of a nurse. So what I want to know is, if you had just one word to describe the most essential quality of a nurse, what would it be?
I'm biased.
Go ahead, be biased.
Resilience.
That comes up so many times.
And I know it's kind of it's a tricky thing, because I feel that when we're talking about that, we're not resilient. It's not, we are.
We are resilient.
By nature, we're very, very resilient, but you can only pile on so much before there's some kind of
something breaks.
Whether it's like a health thing, or you're just like to that point of burnout and exhaustion, feeling like that, or so, it could go a whole bunch of different ways. But I think that when you do really optimize your own self-care and things, you do become more resilient. And like I said, that's how I felt got me through the pandemic, was the resilience. And then everything else falls into place. Yeah.
You've got to be able to. And part of that is, not taking anything personally.
No.
There comes a point where you do, and you have to kind of tell yourself, well, that person's thing is actually their thing. It's not, it may have been directed at me, but it was really their thing. So, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So what kind of advice would you give to someone? You've gone through so many, you've had so many years, you've done so many things, you've done the acute and the education and the whatever. What kind of advice would you give someone who wants to be a nurse?
So I would say that nursing is a beautiful profession. And one of the things that's great about it is there's different avenues that you can take.
Yeah.
There's so many different areas of practice and different degrees and even a different unit, a different shift, a different hospital setting. So I would say that you learn as much as you can, and don't settle and stay stuck. If you're not feeling fulfilled by the work that you're doing, try something different. It's not that it's going to be easy. I mean, all the jobs are going to be challenging, but if you're feeling to the point of burnout, it's okay to find a new job.
To go in a different area, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things. I probably stayed stuck for too long in my last role. Not stuck. I mean, I was still challenged and still enjoying the work, but it was taking a toll on me, and I didn't know what else I wanted to do, so I just kept plowing through, and that wasn't the right thing for my health.
Yeah. So I wonder, do you think that we, while doing all of this, we feel guilty a lot?
Nurses?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
I think that's something we have to work on.
I think that yes, I think that nurses want to help people to the best of their ability all the time. We go into this profession to care for others. And sometimes we're so either time strapped or whatever it is that
Yeah.
we can't give that. And I think that it's like a natural thing that we beat ourselves up.
We beat ourselves up a lot.
But just like you said, we can't take it on. We have to know that we've done our best. And it's okay that it's not perfect or how we envision it to be perfect.
Yeah.
You know, there's just going to be some days that your best is,
in your own eyes, is not good enough.
right.
It may have been good enough, but in your eyes, it wasn't.
Yeah. And I think it's really important to celebrate the small wins.
Yeah.
You know, when that patient thanks you, hold on to that, you know, do anything that you can to feel the good in what's happening. It's hard. Healthcare is challenging, and
Very challenging. Very challenging.
we have to give ourselves a little grace to recognize that, you know?
Yeah. So I have one more question. Do you think that the men in our profession respond differently to we're still a female-dominated profession, but do you think that the men in our profession respond differently to the women?
As far as how they
as far as even what we were just talking about, as far as feeling guilty, as far as feeling that we haven't done enough?
No.
You think the men feel the same?
No, I think they feel differently. I think that if they do feel that, they don't express it as much.
Yeah.
From the men that I've worked with, it's I've seen frustration. I've seen like burnout in a way, but I don't see it. I've seen them being exhausted, but not like taking it personally.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Observing them, I feel like they know when to cut off, you know, and say, this is as much as it's going to be today, and it's not, you know.
Yes.
Oh dear. So Lynn, is there anything else you'd like to share with us today?
No, thank you for having me to share my story.
Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much for joining me. I appreciate it more than you know.
Oh, it's so good. Thank you so much.
Alrighty.